Hey there, it's DM Scott. That's right, I'm talking to you. Yeah, you, the chubby guy wearing the This Is How I Roll t-shirt. Why don't you ditch that ratty old t-shirt that's 2 sizes too small for you? Where'd you get that? Baby Gap? Head on over to our Merchant Morse store on our epic new website. Grab yourself some Dungeon Masters Dojo logo wear. You won't regret it. Rock that t-shirt like the nerd boss you are. It's sleek and it's black, and everyone knows that black is slimming. Hell, I look like a slender 3XL when I'm wearing this black shirt. Not only will you look deceptively less chunky, but with that bold red and white logo, you look like a superhero. And who doesn't want to look like a superhero? So head on over to the DungeonMastersDojo.com merch and more to fill your bag with our swag. See you next time in the dojo. Greetings and salutations, DMs, GMs, referees, judges, game operations directors, and all other varieties of storytellers. This is your DM, Scott, and it's time for another DM Quick Tip. It's ways to get terrain for your game this week on DM Quick Tips. The first way, and probably the most cost-effective way, is to make your own. Yeah, you may be thinking, well, I'm not artistically inclined, and to be honest with you, you really don't have to be. Making your own is pretty easy, especially where we're talking about rocks and trees and stuff like that, because, well, it's pretty forgiving. If you make an error, nobody's going to know the difference between the error you made on your rocky terrain and the stuff that was carved there on purpose. I work in foam when I make my own terrain, as well as a variety of other really advanced materials such as toilet paper rolls, toilet paper, paper towels, cotton, sticks, twigs, dirt, sand, that sort of thing. It's easy to come by. And once you get the hang of it, it's pretty easy to make your own. And if I haven't mentioned it before, which I think I have, it's really inexpensive. The paint you need for your terrain isn't the same kind of paint that you need for your miniatures. 89-cent craft paint at a big box store like Michael's or Hobby Lobby will do the trick just fine. As far as washes go, make your own with some black apple barrel paint or some brown apple barrel paint or a combination of the two, some dish soap and a little bit of water. And there you have a pretty decent wash. You don't need expensive brushes either. Get the cheap stuff and get to crafting your own. There's a ton of tabletop crafting tutorials out on YouTube, which are just fantastic. Black Magic Craft is one of my favorites, and so is Tabletop Witchcraft. He's relatively new to the game, but the guy's stuff is phenomenal. And then, of course, there's the craft father himself, DM Scotty. You can't embark upon your own tabletop crafting journey without watching DM Scotty. Another option is to purchase it. You can purchase it from somewhere like Dwarven Forge. Dwarven Forge's stuff is beautiful, and it's highly detailed, and you can get it either painted or unpainted. You're going to spend a little extra money to get it painted. But if you're going to paint your own, that's fine. But with something like Dwarven Forge, you probably are better off using the same kind of paints you would for your minis. The bonus to this is you could customize it however you want. The drawback is it gets expensive and it's time consuming because there's a lot of pieces. The upside to Dwarven Forge is it's gorgeous and there's built-in LED lights and it's already done for you. The downside is it's expensive. It's quite an investment to put a table together that is full and looks good. Now, I've seen Dwarven Forge in action. One of our friends, Dave, over at Retro RPG Reviews, is a Dwarven Forge guy, and when he sets his table up on Vorpal board, it's stunning. There's also a Dwarven Forge presence on YouTube as well, so if you want to check it out, you could see that stuff in action. And again, it is really, really impressive. Another way is you can 3D print your terrain. 3D printing is an excellent option, but to print any sort of terrain like houses or anything large, you're going to need to print it in small increments on a resin printer like an Elegoo Mars or an Anycubic Photon, or you need to invest in a really large resin 3D printer, and those are expensive. You can, of course, go to the other end of things and get yourself one of the 3D printers that uses what looks like weed whacking twine to produce 3D prints. Those are great too. The print beds are much larger, but there's a lot to know about that. They're not as plug and play as some of these resin printers I've used. Now, you can produce some pretty big pieces of terrain with some of these other 3D printers, but you have to worry about layer lines. The outcome of the print isn't always that great, and layer lines tend to show up when you dry brush, and you certainly don't want that. Now, there are many ways you could get your hands on terrain, and these are just some. We'll see you next time in the dojo.